Good morning, campers. I'm doing a bit of a road walk here on a gravel road to get to the trailhead, starting from Bland, Virginia. 14.8 or 14.9 miles today. I'm not going to a shelter. The shelter's a little close. It's like 11 and a half miles, something like that. It's a little bit of a short day. It's 9 o'clock right now. I prefer to get about 15 miles in, 15, 16 miles today, another 16 tomorrow, 16 and a half tomorrow, another 16 on Friday. So, I got about 48 miles or so to get to Atkins on Friday. That's where I'm staying at the Relax Inn, right off the trail, right near 2 gas stations for resupply, convenience store stuff. I'll get my resupply box at the Relax Inn as well. So, which is kind of, Atkins has a hostel called the Long Neck Lair, where you stay on an alpaca farm, which sounds really cool. And I would love to do that, but it's a bit off trail and it's not near a resupply. So it's one of those things where, like, well, maybe some other time, come back through here and stay at some of the places I didn't get to stay the first time. The Relax Inn is just convenient. It's right off the trail. It's like 100 yards off the trail, and the resupply is right there. And there's a Mexican restaurant in one of the gas stations. So in any event, today doesn't look too tough. Uphill out of uphill out of Bland, which is where I'm leaving right now. Had a great stay at the Weary Feet Hostel. Miss Julie she's a dear, sweetheart. Cooks breakfast and dinners, if you wish. Just a cool old, farmhouse, 115, 120-year-old farmhouse. So, all right, we'll see what the day holds for us. So I'm 1 hour in and checking my GPS coordinates. I've already covered 2.9 miles. So that's phenomenal, but it doesn't surprise me because the trail was pretty flat and smooth. And it was easy hiking, and of course I'm fresh. I've slept in a bed the last 6 nights. Tonight will be my first time sleeping out on the trail again in a week. So I'm not gonna be able to maintain that 3-mile-an-hour pace, nor would I want to. But it's good to kind of crank out a few miles right out of the gate. So yeah, I'll slow down a bit, and then also I gotta take breaks. And then my last 3 to 4 miles will be slow because it's mostly uphill, and I'll be carrying all my water because I'm gonna stealth camp tonight, I'm pretty sure. I'm gonna do a 15-mile day today because I got about a 16.5-mile day tomorrow. There's something you don't see very often, a campsite along the trail with a picnic table. It's because it's so close to the road. But I was just looking at my map, my Gut Hook app, and the place I was going to camp, I was going to stealth camp near a place called Davis Farm Campsite. I wasn't going to actually walk a half-mile downhill to the Davis Farm Campsite. I was going to stealth camp up at the top. And apparently if I go 1 more mile, I hit Route 623. And there's a hostel called Burke's Garden Hostel, I think. I think they're new. And they will shuttle you from 623 to the hostel. So I'm thinking, I might go to another hostel tonight. Why not, I mean, it's another mile hike. I just have to make sure it'll work out with my mileage tomorrow. Oh, and then tomorrow, I could stay at another one, the Bear Garden Hostel. Again, I have to make sure the mileage works. And then Friday, I'll be at Atkins, and I can stay at the Relax Inn and do a small resupply there. to get me to Damascus. So, geez, I might go 9-10 days of hostel hopping or longer. Okay, that's the parking area for. Okay, just checking, make sure. Okay. So anyway, this might become a lot of hostel hopping. Why not? I mean, if I can do it easily, and I'm coming near the home stretch, I got less than 600 miles. Why not spoil myself and enjoy, the last, I don't know, 7 or 8 weeks of the trail I have left. Well, I got less than 3 miles to the shelter where I'm going to take my lunch break, and I just want to say there's not a lot to see today. It's very easy terrain for the most part. I'm making really good progress, but sometimes the easiest terrain is also the least interesting terrain. Sometimes the really tough terrain is the most interesting and varied, but you have to work for it. This one, it's just forest, just a dirt path through the woods. I haven't seen any deer. I occasionally hear a branch break or a rustle in the leaves, and I look and I don't see anything. It could be a deer, could be a bear, could be wild turkey, could just be squirrels, who knows. I do hear that the bear will not be a problem in the weeks ahead, according to Robert, who drove the shuttle this morning from Ubiquiti Hostel. He said that right now they're training up the dogs to hunt bear, and so what they do, the dogs, however they detect the bear, smell them or whatever, chase down the bear until the bear runs up a tree, because it doesn't have any other options. It doesn't want to get attacked by the dogs. If it can't make it to its den or some other cave, it runs up a tree, which is the smart thing to do. And then the hunters call off the dogs and they go home. They can't shoot them yet. It's not bear season. But they train the dogs that this is what you do over and over. And so the bears kind of lie low, according to Robert. He said they won't be out as much, because they're, it's kind of traumatizing for them, obviously. So they're, listening for the dogs, and the dogs bark. You can hear the dogs miles away. So he said the bears will be kind of hiding out a little bit more. They won't be as casual and lackadaisical and wandering around as much as they usually do right now. Who knows if that's true? I hope it is true, because I have heard about some bear issues over the next 150 miles or so. So anyway, that's one thing I wanted to share. And also, squirrel hunters. I didn't know that was a thing. But apparently I passed some other hikers and they said, yeah, there's a couple of guys squirrel hunting. They had a couple of squirrels they had shot and looking to shoot more. I was like, oh, great. So I'm like, what the hell are they going to do with a squirrel? So I asked, and Robert said, you eat them. Now, no offense to anyone who's a squirrel hunter, but that is some serious hillbilly stuff right there. If you're hunting, killing, and taking home, skinning, gutting, whatever you do to prep a squirrel, cooking it, and eating it, you, my friend, are deep in hillbilly country. I am sorry. But, if you can't find it at your local butcher shop, there's a reason. Okay. When's the last time somebody said, hey, why don't you folks come on over? George has been out hunting today and we're having squirrel tonight. Come on over. Never. That never happens. Squirrels are rodents with big fluffy tails. And apparently you can get money for the tails too. Fishing lure companies will pay you to send them squirrel tails, and they use the hair from the squirrel tail in their lures. So, who knew? Who knew? But I gotta say, what's going through your head I mean, think about the logistics here. You gotta buy a rifle. That's hundreds of dollars. You gotta have the ammunition. You gotta have the cleaning gear and the stuff to protect the rifle, trigger lock or a safe or whatever. You gotta have your hunting garb. You gotta get your permit. Then you gotta spend hours sitting around outside hoping you can get a shot at a squirrel. And then, after you have a few squirrel, I can't imagine there's a whole lot of meat on a squirrel. You gotta take it home. You gotta skin it and gut it and God knows what else to get what little meat there is off of them. And then as you're cooking and then ultimately eating the squirrel, is anything going through your head like, gee, I'm eating squirrel? Maybe I've made some poor life decisions along the way that have brought me to this point where I'm eating squirrel. Okay, whatever. To each their own, but holy crap. That is some serious backwoods hillbilly stuff, as far as I'm concerned. I'm just leaving the Jenkins shelter where I had a break. Had my nut butters with tortilla bread, and I finished off my electrolytes with caffeine. Made up some more water in my shoulder pouches here, and this is it for my water. So I have 1 liter of water left. I'm only going 4.5 more miles. Unfortunately, the first 3 miles are mostly uphill. But it's, it's 2:15, and I called the hostel that will pick me up at Route 623 in 4.5 miles. And he said he had some people to pick up, some shuttle runs to do, and he wouldn't be back till at least 4. And I said, well, I probably won't be there till 5 anyway. So I'm not in a hurry. Even if I do a nice, easy 1.5 mile an hour pace, I still get down on the road right around 5:15. So I'm going to call him when I get to within a mile of the road and let him know, I'm about 30 minutes away. So that's it. Oh, I didn't take any video at the shelter because there were 5 other people there. I got there was a backpack sitting there. I thought, someone's probably out back using the privy. So I sat down, started having my snack. 3 more people show up. They sit down in the shelter, start having their snack. And then the guy who was in the privy, who turned out to be the neighbor, it's the 3rd time I've seen him. He came out, and then a guy and his dog showed up. So briefly, there was, well, the neighbor left before the guy and the dog showed up. So there was, 4 people there at a time, total of 5 people, not including me. So I didn't want to shoot any video. So anyway, that's it. Heading uphill for probably the next 2 hours. And then it's more or less flat, kind of rolling along the ridge line until I get to Route 623 and get the shuttle to the hostel. Hostel hopping, yay! So I just passed another hiker going the other way. And I said, oh, through hiking or section hiking? He goes, no, through hiking. And I said, oh, flip-flopping? No, I'm hiking all the way to Maine. I said, you started at Springer? He goes, yeah, today's day 103. And I'm thinking in my head, day 103. So you started the beginning of June, like the first week of June at Springer Mountain, and you're only here after 103 days. This is less than 600 miles. I'm like, that's not even 6 miles a day. Like, I didn't stop and talk to him at length, but I'm like, you're either really, really slow, like the slowest hiker I've met, or you're taking a lot of time off or something. He said he's going to hike until he gets to Maine, and then he's going to find a job for the winter until the park opens up again in May, and then finish his hike in Baxter. I'm thinking, if it took you 103 days to go less than 600 miles, you're going to be hiking until May to get to Maine, to get to Baxter State Park, unless you pick up your pace or something. I don't know, something's got to give. That's not a viable schedule. Anyway, I didn't say that, but I was thinking it in my head, like, I don't know, interesting. A lot of interesting people out here, a lot of interesting strategies. Not sure everyone's really thought it through as well as they should have, but I guess that guy will find out soon enough. Wow, that looks precarious. That rock sort of looks like it's ready to teeter right off of there. I would not want to be close to that when that sucker gives way. So there's a sign for the Davis Farm campsite. The trail leads down the hill, and I originally thought about camping there, but it's a half-mile down a steep hill. Why walk half a mile down a steep hill and half a mile back up tomorrow? There's a stealth site just 100, 200 yards prior to this, or let's just say north of it. It was real nice, flat, fire ring, open. That's probably where I would have camped if it hadn't been for this hostel that will pick me up a mile from here and take me to the hostel for the night. So, I'm spending money left and right on hostels, but, why not enjoy myself for these last, couple months, 7, 8 weeks, whatever I have left. If I can get to a hostel easily and it doesn't throw me off my schedule, why not? It's part of the experience. So I'm going to go about a quarter mile and then call him and say, I'll be ready for pickup, say by 5. It's 4:15 now. It's only a mile. It's easy to get there by 5. So that's my plan, and we'll check out the hostel tonight. It'll be fun. Okay, quick video of the inside of Burke's Garden Hostel. Take a look around. Got a little porch out there where you come into the main area. These cool swing chairs. These are fun. And you got some chairs. You got a table to eat at, fridge, freezer, kitchen stuff, hot air fryer. You got the waffle maker, sink, coffee, guitar. This is a private room where a couple could be in there. You got your towels, your loaner clothes. You got your double sinks. You got 2 toilets. You got a washer and dryer, that's included. 2 showers back here. 2 shower stalls. Soap, shampoo, and whatnot is provided. You got a little sign-in board here. Leave your mark. Upstairs is the living quarters. They're still building out the frames for the beds. You can see they've sprayed insulation on the ceiling here. But this is the upstairs. I believe there are 10 mattresses up here. Here's one with a frame around it. That's what they're all going to look like, I assume. But right now they're just mattresses on the floor. You got a little table here. You got a couple ceiling fans with lights, a couple of couches, some books, and some games over here. So that's about it. It's pretty nice, pretty new, pretty clean, and comfortable. And Bags was good enough to come pick me up at Route 623. And he's going to take me back there very shortly. So I got to get going.